currently 9:09 p.m. and I've been spending the past hour or half hour or so casually working on the backside of the special project polystyrene drawing. In the early morning hours, I completed the details and stress lines of the back of the skull mask / scarf. Then during the morning hours, I did the belt, all except for some black dots to represent notches. This is some lasagna that I believe Dad got either from Wegmans or Aldi's. I'm not 100% sure at this time. But here's some leftover of the homemade applesauce. By Dad's mom. It tastes pretty good. Around 5:30 in the morning, the Dad made some coffee. And I had the last apple fritter that we had at the time. I don't know if Dad got more at Wegmans or Aldi's, but at the time, it was the last apple fritter we had. If I recall correctly, roughly from that time until about 10:30 in the morning, I worked on this polystyrene drawing, and by that time, I had finished everything except for coloring this little section between the top of the belt and a line that's supposed to represent a seam line, if that's the correct terminology. Of the denim jacket. I colored that section in after I woke up. I think around 7 p.m. That's around the time I got up. I think I woke up one time earlier. Around 5 p.m. But then I ended up falling back asleep within half an hour. So I got up after falling asleep around noon at 7 p.m. And by noon, I had all of the details except this little part, this little line, and this section being colored in. It took a while for me to remember that Dad got me a whole bunch of Sharpie markers for my birthday and Christmas. And kept them in his room. So from there, I got this Sharpie marker. Which I felt was like this one, only ultra fine. I believe this was the color I needed. To continue the bottom seam line of the denim jacket, and to do the other details of the back of the denim jacket. I thought to do this around the time I had lunch, which was around noon. And for lunch, I had a little glass of milk with a thing of mac and cheese, a container that I believe Dad got from Aldi's. I took, by his suggestion, I melted some pepper jack cheese into it, the mac and cheese. I wasn't going to do it initially, but I ultimately decided to do it because after microwaving it for 3 minutes, I would have to stir it, peeling back the plastic film more to do so. Before microwaving it at all, I peeled a small corner of the film and then folded it for venting. So I tore one slice of pepper jack cheese into small pieces. Put them on top of the mac and cheese. Loosely put the plastic film back on, though not too loosely since I didn't peel it. I never peeled it all the way off until it was fully cooked, in order to use the plastic film to make it easier to carry the fresh hot container of mac and cheese up here from the kitchen area. Even so, I had to put the mac and cheese container and the glass of milk down a couple times, alternating hands. which hand I carried each item in order to protect my hand from the heat of the container. It never at any point got horribly hot, so I was perfectly fine. Yeah, often if you go a while without using an ultrafine black Sharpie marker, you'll have to restart it in order for it to be able to mark polystyrene again. I primarily did that while working on the polystyrene special project drawing during the morning hours. For the most recent session of work, so far it's been involving these 3 Sharpie markers. And these are most, if not all, of the Sharpie markers I used at one point or another during today's work on the special project polystyrene drawing. If I recall correctly, I had roughly a few cups of coffee from 5:30 in the morning to about 10:30 in the morning. The earlier cups were fresh hot coffee. The later cups were more cold brew. My impression of cold brew coffee is simply, at least for me, coffee that's been completely cooled down. I don't recall much of a difference. At least that's how I feel cold brew coffee is for me. A few to maybe 4 cups during that time period, 5:30 to 10:30. In the morning, I finished watching the private snafu cartoons, a 2.5-hour collection that I found on YouTube the other day. Those old cartoons. They were in pretty good quality. These are all of the task sets I've been able to complete for the Winter Magic event so far. I made this swap at some point today, either during the morning hours, or I think more likely around noon. Around the time I had that container of mac and cheese that I asked Dad, and he went to Aldi's, although he didn't get that container of mac and cheese during today's trip to Aldi's. He got some other things, such as a new gallon of milk, since we were running pretty low on the old gallon after I had that glass with the mac and cheese.